Loudy. Oh, Loudy. What is up, everybody? Welcome into a loser's lounge.
Just exhausted.
Too exhausted to trombone.
I'm hoping that if this is like when you're attacked by a bear, and if you
play dead,
you just make no sudden movements, no noise. Maybe it'll pass on by.
You should see if you can do the whole show still as possible. Just not move.
Let's see. I'm
Cardboard
ready.
D-line. We just
Nobody asked me any questions.
Ask him anything. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Not only did we lose tonight, the game, but I also lost my bets tonight.
Hell yeah, dude! That's the triple threat, double threat.
It really was a little bit of everything. It was a rough one.
Everything.
I lost everything. I lost my pride,
Oh.
my sense of self-respect.
No bigger loser in the house tonight than our own Brendan.
It's so true. This is a rough one here.
Yeah, I don't have anything clever right now.
You do have some liquor there, though.
Cheers, guys. Therapy lounge.
Therapy lounge.
We're in a boat together tonight.
Anybody who wanted the show to start a little earlier couldn't start until Brendan went over and cracked open a bottle of alcohol.
It was actually a real too. Like he went over there and it was like a real sad, but it wasn't like a joke. Like, hey guys, I'm doing
what I'm doing.
It was like a real This is how much to
Realization.
take away the pain. It's a lot.
It was. Someone just got a divorce opening of a bottle.
Definitely.
This is my nightmare.
This is his nightmare. Well, we got about 60 more minutes to go here, so buckle up. The giggler is with us. It's D-line.
That's right, guys. Listen, happiness is overrated. Anybody can be happy when things are going well. I'm miserable. I've never been sadder in my entire life, but I have your friendship.
Yeah.
To get me through it.
This is better than just going home, walking home in the rain.
Hey, we
Just
suffer together,
rethinking
man.
everything.
This really is we reconvene here. We try to pick each other up.
Yeah, dude.
Or even if we don't, we just suffer together. We just suffer in the same.
I actually think I might try and just finish Brendan off. It's so close to the end.
Just push me off a ledge.
Superstar Dev also had a rough night tonight.
Just nothing but pain. That's all we know is pain. Things have not been going well for the Nuggets as of late, and I just don't like it. Painful.
No, it's painful.
This is why that last game was. I mean, this was one. I honestly thought this was the toughest game on the schedule. Celtics have been playing phenomenally. You watch them tonight. It's hard for you to talk to yourself into the Nuggets being playoff ready when you see a playoff ready team, and that was the Celtics tonight. Their execution on both ends of the court. They know exactly who they are. Every player on that team knows exactly what their role is on that
Every
team.
Celtic is good.
Every Celtic is good. The ball pops like yes, it is, but it's really not that great. They just play that connected style. Shall we head to the quick recap? What's this called again? I always forget.
What is wrong with
It's your
you?
segment.
It's
The
called
quick recap?
Quick recap.
Yeah.
The quick recap. Well, it's because it's in a circle. I can never read it. It's in a circle.
There's 3 words to remember, so I
All right,
understand.
well, I'm not blaming the design. I'm just saying I can't tell what's going on. The quick recap, as it's called, as it's become known. Horford on Jokic. Robert Williams, the doubler. I'm telling you, man, there's smart coaches out there and there's dumb coaches out there. When I saw that to begin with, I tweeted it out, but I also said it that's how you guard Jokic. You send a really long, athletic body as the double guy and let the other, maybe smaller or stronger guy just be on ball. And it worked. I mean, this was really good. Aaron Gordon picked up 2 early fouls. We're going to talk a lot about Aaron Gordon because this Nuggets team has 2 teams. The one where Aaron Gordon is like a viewer, just kind of watching. And then there's the one where he's actually participating. He was both in this game, although one too late. But he picks up 2 really quick fouls. Davon Reed checked in with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to go. So it was 3 minutes, less than 4 minutes of Aaron Gordon in the first quarter. Then Robert Williams picked up 2 fouls. And guess what happened? Jokic started to eat. He scored half of his points in this 3-minute stretch when Robert Williams went to the bench. He started going off. He was doing work on Horford. Jason Tatum, it was really weird. I don't know if it's Denver's game plan, but they had Boogie in the paint on pick and rolls with Jason Tatum.
I think that was a miscommunication.
It has to be because Jason Tatum got 3 wide open looks. He only hit 1, but one of them was right at the end of the third quarter, and it pushed the Celtics up 33-27. It was actually meaningful to me because Denver, I thought, played okay in that first quarter. And if you're down 3 or down 1, it's not a big deal. You're down 6. It's man, we kind of lost by a lot in that corner. And that 3 by Tatum really hurt. Second quarter, back and forth with the second unit. Nothing too bad. Malone challenged a Jokic foul early on a made jumper. It was a very weird challenge because at best you save 1 point and 1 Jokic foul, but it's the second quarter. It was successful. Got the ball back. This was where the turning point began. Jokic gave up a lob on a slip. He just like lost. It was like got caught on his heels. Robert Williams lob dunk. Then Jokic missed a floater that was kind of a weird shot. Jokic had weird shots tonight. He missed a floater, and then on the other end, Jokic missed a box out that went for a long rebound that turned into a three-pointer. That was a 5, 6, 7-point swing right there, all on, Jokic misses and 2 Jokic kind of bad plays. And it spiraled into a 28-7 run for the Celtics. That was literally the game. Peyton Pritchard couldn't miss. The Celtics as a team couldn't miss. It was 68-43 at the half. The Celtics crowd was chanting MVP mockingly at Jokic. It was really the worst of all worlds in the third quarter. Michael Malone started the bench. He benched the starters, started the bench. It kind of worked. There was some energy. The bench played with pride, at least. It's something the starters were not doing. And then we went to the Jokic boogie minutes, which was something we wanted to see, although not when down 25 points. But we got to look at that. Nuggets back and forth, couldn't catch up. 98-77 Celtics. Nuggets starters kept playing. Malone is now you got benched, but now I'm going to play you into the ground. They kind of got some momentum going, cut it to 16. I actually believed for a second, Dev. I was like, you know what? I don't think they're going to win, but we're right there. Let's see what happens. But Jeff Green gave up an offensive rebound that was a putback. That was a killer. It's like you got to stop. You're up 16. Now you're down 18. And then Barton got backdoored on the very next play, and Jokic got posterized by Jason Tatum, much to the crowd's enjoyment, and that was the effective end of everything. My life, my excitement, my happiness, everything.
I witnessed Brendan Vogt's soul leave his body. Just kidding. He has no soul.
I wish I was even remotely surprised by this.
It was rough. I mean, it was a night where it wasn't just the Nuggets losing. It's that there were all these little punctuation moments from the crowd to the dunks to the threes to the Jokic being completely off. It's just a little bit of all of it. Dev, what's your big takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway is these are the type of games that let you know exactly where the Nuggets are.
So true.
And why
I strongly agree.
Jokic also he should be getting more credit than he deserves. Than he gets. Because that's a complete team. That is a team that had multiple guys that could get going at all times. Jason Tatum went off. Jaylen Brown went off. Everybody got going. Marcus Smart, everybody else knows what they're supposed to do because that's a complete team that looks like a contender. The Nuggets are nowhere near that team right now, and it sucks because there's only 10 games left in the season. So if you want the Nuggets to be a contending team, these are the type of games where you look at it and you say, having a Jeff Green as a starter, it just is not going to work, in the long haul. And that's why it's been so remarkable that Jokic has them exactly where they are. I feel like this was a fatigue game for Jokic. He's had to carry the load for so long. Guys have started to try to figure out how to defend him in double teams. I don't think there's an answer for Jokic, but for right now, this version of the Nuggets, there is an answer for them because you can double team. You can force it out of his hands, and other guys have to make things happen. And we saw that early with trying to get Will Barton going early. Didn't work. Trying to get everybody else involved, and that's when Malone does have to make some makeshift type of decisions where he's trying to put the bench unit just to give the other team under heel. So there's a lot of things to take away from that game, but the difference between where the Nuggets are and where Boston is right now.
Eric, I agree. I think this was a measuring stick game. Usually that means a team's I want to see where we measure up. I don't think Denver wanted to see where they measured up, but I think Boston showed them anyway.
Yeah, man, this was a game where you really, really needed Nikola Jokic to be the MVP of the league, and this was not a good game by Jokic.
It was a bad Jokic. It was a flat-out bad one.
This was a bad game by Jokic. It pains me to even utter those words, but he was terrible. He missed everything. He was distracted. I heard it theorized that maybe his trying to come back off of the road and having a screaming child at home maybe is affecting his sleep.
I love that we're going here. I don't like the cold barometric pressure.
Because it was so
it was bad.
It was so out of character. He wasn't making good decisions. He was missing bunnies. It was crazy. And this is what actually. And the ironic thing is it shows you why he is the MVP, because without Jokic's steady leadership, you just see what
massacre
the rest of the team being in charge looks like. It's just there's no answers.
my honest takeaway on that, because I think Jokic was really bad too, I give the Celtics a lot of credit.
Sure.
They are a great defensive team, and they have multiple good interior defenders, especially back to the basket. Like, Horford's a really smart defender, especially when he knows he's got a full-time blitzer coming on. I mean, it's one thing to say, like, okay, can Al Horford guard Jokic one-on-one if you say nobody's going to help? Of course not.
Right.
But if you say that you absolutely are going to always have a second body there, Horford's very, very, very good and then knows exactly how to funnel. And Robert Williams is very, very, very good. And then on the weak side, they just have guys that know how to size up and do everything. So to me, yes, Jokic was bad tonight, and he missed some shots that I think he can make, but I give Boston a lot of credit because I think they knew exactly what to do to this Denver team to make Jokic bad tonight.
Both things are definitely true, but you start with Jokic, A, because we're the Denver people, but also because he's the best player in the world, and a big part of what makes that so is that typically, I know there are limitations with personnel, but you give Jokic 4 quarters to look at a defense and he starts to figure it out.
Yeah.
And tonight, he was rattled in that regard. Also compounded by the fact where tough, awkward floaters they may be, bad shots they may be for anyone else, that's Jokic's bread and butter. And he just missed them tonight. There were also opportunities where one-on-one, he tried to move a little quicker before the double team got there. Robert Williams was up for this challenge tonight, but also we've seen Jokic take advantage of those opportunities. Tonight he just didn't. So you're right. I mean, we talk about the Nuggets, of course, on this show. Sometimes you do got to look at the other side. Cleveland, Toronto, other good examples where you go, hey, good game plan, good execution. Still, what felt like what was missing tonight was Jokic finding a way to go up and over that, which we're so used to now. And tonight it just didn't happen.
To me, there's a very troubling trend I've seen over the last several games, which is the teams that the Nuggets are going up against are absolutely selling out to defend Jokic.
Thank you.
And there's what should be easily a punishable strategy is not being punished in the slightest. It's being rewarded over and over, and it's getting Jokic frustrated. He's trying to make passes that are getting stolen. Like, it's just, and it's such an obvious strategy. It's like, okay, cool. What Jokic does is when you send the double, he finds the open guy. The open guy makes you pay. Like, not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I think more than just the guys not making them pay with the wide open kick out. That part's definitely true as well. I think more than that is if teams know they can pre-sell out, meaning like we could just keep the ball, keep him away from his spot so that it makes somebody else initiate. Right. And Denver is, I think, really struggling with that part of it. That's the part that's so scary is I've said this a couple weeks back, and it's become more and more true. I think teams just say, like, not make somebody else beat you, as in let them get the ball to Yoke and then make him force it into someone else's hands, but just don't let him get the ball to Yoke.
Yeah.
Make somebody else literally do anything else. Make them post up Aaron Gordon. Make them run Monte Morris to attack or Will Barton to attack. And Denver, I think those guys are better at it than what they showed tonight. But Denver has spent the last 2.5, 3 seasons doing everything through Yoke. And those guys just, I don't think are like, they haven't built towards that. They haven't built to where those guys can take advantage of it.
Yeah, being reliant on Jokic so much, like it has its positives and it also has its negatives. Right now we're seeing the negatives because they are selling out in ways that we've never seen it, and also ways that Jokic has never seen it, where two guys are on him at all times. They're shading him, and you'll see there's times that Jokic should get the ball and he'll go and score. But also, are you going to be able to keep doing that every single time? No, the Nuggets are not going to be able to do that every time. You could go, back to – you could just go back for the entire year. There's maybe one game where someone else, like, just won the game completely. But other than that, it's going through Yoke every single time. So now I think teams are just like, hey, that's the formula. That's how you try to beat this team. That's what you got to stick to, because it's not something that you could just repeat. It's not a cycle that just can keep happening. Jokic is going to score every single time. Right. And we've seen that with all of the greats, actually, like LeBron, like Kevin Durant. Like, you're going to see it after a while. He's going to get his, but is anyone else? And that's where it's becoming very difficult for the Nuggets, because they have a rookie they're trying to get into. They have all these old vets. They have nobody that actually can just destroy a game or just take over a game completely, and that's where you miss Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. the most.
Yeah. It kind of does remind you, like tonight's game reminds you a little bit of last year's Sun series, where Denver was just dead in the water by half every single of the 4 games, in large part because it was a team that had kind of solved them. And tonight, And not just tonight, but to your point, Toronto, there's been teams that have kind of just solved them in a way of like, not solved them as in it's hopeless for you to win, but in we know exactly the hardest way for you to get a win, and we're going to put you there.
Listen, going back to that deadline last year where I and many others felt like this team is more than good enough to win a title.
Yeah.
That was predicated on talent. And
Yeah.
those five guys fit together really well.
Totally.
But the way we talk about Phoenix, Boston right now, over the last 4 years, we've never said that about Denver. They're not a relentless execution team.
Oh, okay.
They're not. They've played connected. They've reached that level.
I think they did for about it's so hard to remember because those five
guys.
games.
And that's what was so encouraging about it.
It is easier to execute when the pieces all fit, when everybody is executing at the
100%.
thing they're good at.
But to see them lose some talent,
Yeah.
they're not going to survive that the way a Memphis or Phoenix might.
Right.
They just don't have that raw execution element to them. Some of it's what you brought up with the Jokic-centric thing. But again, building your offense heavily around Jokic is not a bad idea. It just helps to have the rest of your talent as well.
Of course, you have to. I mean, everybody knows Jamal Murray is sort of the counter punch to the main punch, and it works beautifully. It's like that. It's the total pick your poison between those two. And without it, yes, you have a great player in Monte Morris. You have Will Barton. You have these guys that can do things, but not at the level of
Right.
and you really start to see it here. The execution thing is interesting, though, because as much as I agree with you about offensively, I think Denver reached that for a very short window at a point last year. Defensively, especially watching right now, Denver feels more like a team that is right around Christmas or January than they do a team that is 10 games away from the playoffs. We're talking about guys pointing at each other like, hey, was that you or me? Or did you rotate? Will Barton getting backdoored at the top of the key because he's ball watching. Like, that stuff to me is the stuff I look at and I go, Denver is so far away from being playoff form defensively.
The scary part is it's multiple guys.
Yeah.
It's not just one or two guys. It's so many at the same time. It's even rubbing off on Yoke at times. Like, you really can see like the issues on that end of the floor, and I think that also comes on the offensive end. I think that the frustration on defense and letting, like, if you look at it, the Nuggets are working hard every single time for a basket. On the other end, it's just like a mental lapse, and it's an easy basket. So you're working hard on one end and putting all your energy into that, but on the other end, you're not getting that. And then the communication is not there, on top of just not having the same talent. So you have to execute. Right. You have to be perfect in these type of situations. And Denver, really, they're going backwards in that regard.
It's just like I love NBA basketball. I love the highs and the lows. This is as low as it gets. We were invoking the Smuggets name 3 days ago.
3 days ago?
Yeah, remember? After
the Philly win?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what happened? Did you invoke Smuggets? I don't remember.
I didn't do it,
Did
dude.
you invoke Smuggets, Aaron?
No. We read it. It was at Superchat.
What are you going to do, basketball gods? Stab me?
I know. What are you going to do? Deliver the worst game I've ever seen in my entire life and physically hurt Brendan Vogt all the while?
The Celtics, I know this hurts to do. Celtics, I mean, I honestly believe this. I think they're the most playoff-ready team, just in terms of, are they at their ceiling? By the way, man, nobody likes a whiny fan. This is why everybody hates Yoke, because Yoke's fans can be like very whiny in terms of like hopping in other people's mentions. I put out there, I said, I think Celtics are the most playoff-ready team I've seen. Suns were that way for most of the year till Chris Paul got hurt. Suns fans have been in my mentions since, being like, we're actually 10-4 since the injury. I don't know if you know, like, guys, you're not playoff ready till you get Chris Paul back. I'm sorry. You're a good team. Like, what are we talking about here? There's lots of good teams. You're not one of them
Other
until Chris
teams
Paul
can be
comes
good,
back. Like,
yeah.
I hope you can, like, if you can't see that with your team, then, like, come on. Like, that's just like someone saying, like, did you see how great the Nuggets were without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.? Like, we know that they're the best when they have their guys.
Yeah.
Like, that just makes sense. But when you even look at this game, and I think that's what's so scary about this Boston team, this was a game they cared about. Like, they actually were locked in. They actually had a game plan. Every single basket by Tatum, it seemed like it was personal. Every single one of them. Like, he's like in the crowd, he's trash talking. They're locked in on that defensive end. Guys like Grant Williams is like blocking Jokic, and everyone's like, as a team, they're just on the same pace. Like, they're synchronized the entire time. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. You don't see a lot of like smacking your lips on plays.
No. The one thing I learned is that Jason Tatum has seen around the association.
Do you think it would be hilarious if somehow his name just came up on a Google search and he's like, let me watch this. Like, what? This guy says I'm putting up 40 on it.
I was watching his Instagram, and his son Deuce in a little Cardinals uniform. It looks awesome. I'm like, what have I done? All I needed to do was hate the Celtics, but I made it about the coolest Celtic. Whatever. No, he's still overrated.
We have a lot more to get to, guys, on today's show. We have a lot more. The Therapy Lounge is going to roll on for one more segment, including, I got to call out one Joshua Kroenke.
Oh,
I got to call out because there's few things that hurt me more than seeing a crowd going crazy for the opposing team. I'm going to talk about that on the other side.
All right. Well, listen, I can't imagine a better time to try to pitch watching Nuggets basketball. Whether you're trying to catch the Nuggets or the Avalanche games, and them boys are on a roll. And by the way, plenty of time for the Nuggets to pick the vibes back up. You may have noticed it's difficult to do this year. It's a little bit easier since Vogt TV has gotten in on the game. They're growing constantly, adding new channels to their lineup, like most notably Altitude Sports. This service is available in Denver, Colorado Springs, Phoenix, Boise, Twin Falls, and Idaho. Shout out my Idaho Nuggets diehards.
It's not Twin Falls and Idaho.
Oh, it's Twin Falls,
is a city
Idaho.
in Idaho.
Yeah, no, I get that when I read it critically, but
We should get a blank mat and see if Vogt can fill it out.
dude, I can't, bro. I can't. But this
East
is a little
Coasters
bit.
don't know the West Coast, and I don't know the East Coast, to
I was
be
gonna
honest.
say,
Like, I'll
yeah.
screw up, like
I don't
New
know the East
Hampshire,
Coast either, though. So.
Vermont. I'll screw them up, put them backwards.
It's just Ron Burgundy, man. You put a question mark in this thing, and I'm asking a
Even
question.
Alabama, Mississippi, I'll screw those two up if I'm not careful.
But shout out Vogt TV, which is making it easy to follow these Colorado teams that you love. We've heard from a lot of reviews, first-hand feedback, people telling us they love this thing. So how do you get it? You go to avoca.tv/DNVR. It's only $25 per month plus receiver. No contracts, no hidden fees. Doesn't that sound grand? Check them out. You also might find yourself in need of a good alcoholic beverage right now because, as my Irish Catholic father used to say, there's no better time to drink than when you're really sad. For you 21-year-olds out there, that's not true. Find a healthier relationship with it. Whether you're happy or sad, I can very humbly and with enthusiasm ask you to check out this Mile High City Copper Lager, the DNVR Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets themed can. It's delicious, goes down easy whether you're watching a win or a loss. Check it out from Breck Brew. If you want to try it, you can try it here. If you want to try it from the safety and comfort of your home, you can check out the Breck Beer Locator. Tell them where that home is, what you're looking for. They'll tell you where to go. Real convenient. If you want to order pickup or delivery, from the farmhouse, you can do so. They're still available for pickup from 12 to 8 p.m. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 to 8 p.m. for pickup. Use code DNVR to save $5. Hey, one of the best ways to support DNVR is by supporting our friends and partners like Breckenridge Brewery.
Back here,
Great
segment
job.
2. I know we have a couple super chats. We'll get to those in segment 3. Thanks as always for sending those in. There's some storyline. We're not going to go player by player. Why would we? All of them were bad.
Sucked. Bad. Sucked.
But I do want to talk about Michael Malone's decision to bench the starting unit. Did you agree with that decision?
Yeah, I did in that. Well, I mean, it's one of these things where you look at a head coach of an NBA basketball team and you're like, does it make sense for him to punish his team to make them feel bad and play better? Which is kind of what he was doing. He was just obviously sending a message like, if you guys aren't going to play, then I'm going to try and find somebody who will. It seemed to work a little bit, and I don't know that necessarily the message was received, but I at least appreciate that the coach is as frustrated as we are and is actually trying to do something, you know.
Jokic's sin tonight wasn't necessarily playing hard, even though I mentioned that sequence that really where the wheels came off kind of started with him, and he's the leader of the team. But there were guys on that first unit, you know, even Will Barton, like tonight, Will Barton did a bunch of really dumb things. His defensive, execution was atrocious, absolutely atrocious. That he played hard. You know, Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon in that first half, especially in that second quarter, were just like, the urgency from those guys I felt wasn't there. Even Monte a little bit, the urgency wasn't there. Were you okay with Malone's decision to go with the bench?
I just don't get it at the NBA level.
Yeah.
It's not really convincing guys like, oh, we really need to play harder because, you know, we're not getting paid. Like, I just don't get what the mindset is. It's not like guys are on the bench. They're already spent. It's later in the season. They're tired, and they're getting their ass whipped in the game. So it's not like they're, like, on the bench like, hey, we didn't play hard enough or we got to do better when we get back in there or anything like that. Like, also, they knew they were going to play again. They were forced to have to continue to play. They were going to get another crack at it. And then it was just like offset. Like they put Jokic in first, then Aaron Gordon and them come in later. So there was no message that was sent. If you're gonna bench them for the entire second half, where they're like, okay,
I don't know. He already
the
benched him in the
seriousness.
4th quarter, though. Like he already did the Facu closes, though, and that was actually against Boston of all teams. He's already done like some of this kind of stuff before. Gone with that second unit, to close or whatever. I don't know. I don't mind the benching. I do wonder though, like if it's effectiveness.
Do you think that benching? Did you think it inspired anyone?
Look, the second unit came out and played great. They played hard, and then when Jokic checked back into the game, he played hard. And Aaron Gordon in the second. Aaron Gordon played really hard in that second half.
Yeah.
So the proof is a little bit in the pudding there. Because I'm with you. Like I always hated these little like, existential things that coaches would do, where it's like, and I think they're corny, especially for grown men. But tonight, they played harder. They were not playing hard in that second quarter.
Yeah, I'm going to throw an alternative take out here. Is it possible Malone genuinely viewed that as their best chance to win the game?
It's possible.
3 minutes of the bench plays hard,
might
given the
have
way
been.
the starters have played the third quarter over the last month.
I don't think
That's not even devil's advocate.
I don't think that's off at all. Like I think honestly he was like
As opposed
the
to just
only
motivated.
the only guys that are motivated tonight are the guys that
Yeah.
are trying to
Right.
fight for their NBA
Right.
lives and prove themselves out there. The starters are despondent. They're like not playing together. They're not making good decisions. Like whether they're tired, whatever the case. Let's see if we can get something out of the bench. I mean, I agree with you. I didn't think it was pure message alone
I agree.
being sent to the starters.
Because he did bring Jokic right back out. Now, J. Mike also appeared to get hurt, but all the same, he dipped right back into the starters. So maybe he did see the life he wanted to see for 3 minutes, turn to his guys and say, follow that suit, let's go. And they, by the way, they did go on a little run. A little bit tighter execution, maybe that's
why I said I think the proof's in the pudding. They did play better.
Yeah.
Like they played better in the second half than they did in the first half. Now, what I will say is I don't think you can make a coaching mistake when you're down 25. When you're down 25, like at that point, you're not really harming. Your odds of winning are 0.5%. Did they go down to 0.4? I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
There is something funny to me, though, guys, about to Devin Adams' point about whether or not you like it. It's kind of hard not to roll your eyes at it. This is a professional team that cannot find the time to practice, but the head coach is going to dig as deep as he can into his high school basketball purist. Like, you guys are all out of here. Like, it may have worked. I'm not saying it was a bad choice, but there is something a little bit of like, there is a small element of what are we doing here to it.
I kind of like. I mean, just the fan in me likes seeing a little like fuck you.
Try something.
Like just fuck you. Just sit out. Like you're not doing it. Like fuck off. Like what are you wasting our time here? Like penalty. Like whether you're being penalized or not. Whether you take this deep into your heart and you analyze and look in the mirror based on the fact that you were bench. It's like I don't want to see you out there right now. It's like making me sick.
Yeah, I actually don't mind it. I really don't. I was so disgusted with that second quarter and just the effort that to me there was nothing that would have made it. Wouldn't have made it okay. I will say, not to single anyone. Nah, I don't want to single anybody out. I don't want to single anybody out. Yeah, I didn't want to single anybody
Tonight, everyone was so bad,
It was so bad.
including Jokic,
Yeah.
that it's not that there aren't valid points about any given guy. It's just, it's hard not to see it as like everyone's going to look at their red herring tonight and
Totally.
that guy was real bad. But it was a collective.
You know who blew it tonight? Facu.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm like, listen, a lot of the usual suspects were particularly bad, but it's kind of hard to circle that when Jokic himself didn't even play well. So,
The crowd tonight was the worst part. I can't believe in a game in which the Nuggets got absolutely demolished. I think about our poor friend Flo, who sat in this very chair just 2 days ago, excited, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed about getting to go to Ball Arena, the mecca of his beloved Denver Nuggets for the first time. And what does he see? A complete takeover by Boston Celtics fans. Now, people have to understand, especially people not from Denver, have to understand one important piece of context. Denver is an incredibly popular city. It kicks ass. People here are nice.
It's dope.
It's awesome. It's a beautiful state. Everything here is dope as fuck. And the city of Boston is one of the worst cities in all of the world. Like one of the world's places. Like absolutely atrocious places. Honestly, like Denver is so much California. Which, like, I'll say a bunch of bad things about California and, like, some of the soul center. At least it's like closer to Colorado than, like, the East Coast is. The East Coast is completely different. Chicago, which I love as a city, but it's miserable weather. And then Boston, which has the combination of the worst people in every sense, the coldest place to live on Earth. And so you get a lot of people that are transplants here. But I'm not blaming just the way that transplants work. I mean, the way that the East Coast has flooded into our city. I put more blame personally on this because it's growing. The Celtics have always had a crowd in Denver, like a little one. It's over the last 20 years. But it's growing till tonight where you look at it and you're like, they're openly mocking Nikola Jokic. Every time he touches the ball, the crowd is like mocking him. It's that bad now. And I blame this solely on the feet of the Kroenke crime family because it is a crime what they have done to the city of Denver, making
crime
it.
Family.
I'm serious about this, though. I've talked about it a lot about what you owe when you're a billionaire and you own a team, what you owe to the city. The fact that the Nuggets have the worst television ratings by a mile now of anybody in all of the NBA, and that their MVP, the gift that they're supposed to be sharing with the city, gets openly mocked on our own home court. To me, I look at these things and I say, F you. That F you because you put us, as Denverites, you put us through this, and it's only getting worse. There's no marketing and branding around this team. There's nothing like there's no effort to make the Nuggets a thing in this town.
Yep.
And they're not even on television. I'm sorry. There should be pitchforks and torch and what is it called? That torch?
Yes,
torches.
Yeah. You're
Headed
looking for the
towards
second half of the word you already completed.
I was like torches. That's the taco.
Really,
taco place.
That took the power
Let's
away
all
from
get
your
our torches.
proclamation.
No, that's not right.
That didn't feel like a home game, like at
It wasn't.
all for the
It
Nuggets.
wasn't.
Like really, that felt like an away game. They brought the crowd into, a place that you're not able to even watch the games. Like, so if you look at it from Flo's stand, he gets to watch the Nuggets through us. So he finally gets to go in person, and he sees that there are people in the crowd, but it's not the same people.
Right.
So now it looks even crazier, for a person that has not been to a Nuggets game. Because, we've covered, we've been there, we know what it looks like. We're prepared for that type of environment. To go into, to be around the home crowd and around people who like the same team and the same level that you do, and to be from another country and see it with the away team, that has to be like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
That does suck.
And go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I lived in Boston for 4 years. It's a good place.
It's not a good place.
People. I enjoyed
Not a good place.
It is really. I mean, it is. This is the chickens coming home to roost. I actually blame Comcast more than I blame the Kroenkes, but I do blame the Kroenkes in what you're saying about the outreach part, the advertising part, the making the Nuggets just a constant visual thing that you see all around the city. There should be giant billboards of Nikola Jokic. There should be murals of him all over the place that have been.
But hold on. One thing about it, because you blame Comcast. Here's the thing.
I blame Comcast for the.
But here's the thing about the dispute. 2/3 of people in Denver have Comcast. So if you just say, okay, let's triple that number that we saw, they had it, they would triple it because we're only losing 2/3. It's still, the Nuggets would still be like the 5th worst viewed organization. So to me, that it is a big part of it. But what I'm saying is, like, you're only cutting out 2/3 of the audience, but even with that, they would have been terrible. This is a systemic thing since the Kroenkes have owned it, of the brand losing power in Denver. And again, some of this is natural forces of the last 20 years has just seen an incredible migration
I don't completely agree with that because they rebranded the team. There's been excitement around the team. They have gotten to be more pervasive
That's a
around
low
town.
bar. I mean, everybody rebranded. Literally everybody rebranded when Nike took over.
Well, not their like foundational brand. They didn't. Not everyone changed their logo. Not everyone. I'm just saying, like, but I agree with you in that they started the job, but they've not finished the job, and they've not been attentive enough to what it is that they have. They've not honored the fact that they have such a transcendent player in Nikola Jokic, and it's honestly something that Denver should feel the most pride about in athletics. And I mean, for me, it's like really simple. I mean, I just look at the fact that Nikola Jokic plays for my basketball team in my town. It just like my heart just swells, like just with that very thought. And it should be something that everybody feels. It is super frustrating. The one thing is like when you do move from a place like Boston or all of the take the L on the way out cities, the Los Angeles, whatever, it's like you get one time a year to go to see your team. So they circle that. It's a big deal.
Yep.
So that's always kind of why that happens. It does suck that Denver is just a place that everybody comes to because they are, trying to escape the miserable East Coast, as you point out. It sucks. You know, there's nothing better than when the Nuggets then are able to quiet that number of people.
Do you think this is go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say my perspective from when I first got here, it was really bad. I mean, the cultural footprint could not have been any smaller. The home games were away games.
The fan vote has a hard time finding fans.
Yeah, that was like a real thing. And it was a cheap ticket to come see like Eric was saying, like, oh, I'm a Boston fan. I get to see Tatum tonight. Like, I'm going to go. That's when I got here. That's how it was. And that, to me, was the product of a half a century of just a shit product on the court. With all due respect to the good teams that cropped up, the history of the Nuggets and Nug Life, well documented, we all know. It was getting better. It was growing as the team was growing. I saw more people in Nuggets jerseys every day. They had the best player in team history, and people were responding. And this is why I think you're 100% right, because it was growing, and then it nosedived. And what was the cutoff? When the Cronkies stopped giving a shit about putting this team in front of people. And so, and the point you've made about this for a couple of months is it's not just the attendance thing. I mean, why can I go a city block without seeing some mention of the Nuggets or Jokic? I shouldn't be able to. In other cities, I wouldn't be able to. And we certainly know that they can afford it. Cry me a river with the pandemic. So these elements do feel under their control. The Nuggets fans who get bashed for this, they were responding to a good product, and then it was taken away from them. And so I do blame the Cronkies.
I don't think Yoke thinks on this level, although I hope somebody asks him. He has not yet gone to the podium, and I hope one of the reporters there asks him about the sensation of being at home and being mocked by the crowd around you. Because I have to imagine if I'm Yoke, I'm like, F this. This is bullshit. What am I doing here? But I don't think he cares about those things, thankfully. But to me, it is like one of those things where I just think about like that's got to be miserable. But I do blame the Cronkies. I want to have Josh Kroenke on the show, but I can't in good faith ask that. Usually I'd be like, I try not to hold like people like beat up on them like in person or this or that. Like, I respect their time. We ask him, there's places to ask him questions. I couldn't have Josh on here and not ask him about the Comcast thing. I couldn't have him on here and ask him about like, how do you feel about this? Does that hurt you the way it hurts me? And if not, do you think it should?
I would want you to ask that question if I saw that interview for two reasons. A, someone has to.
He wouldn't come on because of that.
No, I know, and
that's
get
what I'm
that.
saying.
I totally know what you mean. And yet we have come on here and talked about the feeling that maybe Josh takes more pride in this than Stan does. And I want it, I kind of do wonder that. And then that's why this question needs to be asked. You're right, we would never get that chance. But, hey, man, don't you sense this opportunity? Don't you want to take a hold of this? Because I see Josh in the boxes. I see Josh caring. I saw him creeping into that press conference in a take that L on the way out shirt. I think Josh wants to care. But now this family needs to put their money where that mouth is, and there's a lot of money. Don't ever get it twisted. There's a lot of money there.
Yeah. The Nuggets are just so cool. You're selling the coolest thing in the city, and somehow I can't do it. It doesn't sit right with me.
And the Avalanche too, by the way.
And the Avs too, by the way. The Avs are also like
maybe the best team in the
supremely
world.
dope. Are there any other angles you want to take with this one, with this loss here? Here's the angle I'll take. The Nuggets are now. It's funny. I had somebody write me the other day saying, "You said the Nuggets could never fall to the plan." It's the opposite of what I've been saying. I've been sitting here looking at the standings, going like, "Hey, man, I'm kind of worried about this." In fact, my colleague, friend of the show, Matt Moore, has been the one that's like, "Don't worry, you're over worrying, you're over this." I'm watching it. I'm like, hey, here they are. As of right now, they sit in the 7 seed. That is the play-in. That has them facing up against the Los Angeles Clippers. Almost certainly the Clippers are going to be the 8. So now it's just about being the 7. Does this the Nuggets MO in the Jokic era, Game 7, Game 82, just always comes down to the wire? Is this just like, should we not be surprised by this, Dev, that it's just the Nuggets always do this? They always make it. It's going to come down to the last game, maybe the last shot.
Yeah, no, this is who the Nuggets are. This is what we've grown accustomed to and what it's been like since we've been here, especially since they've been winning and getting to the playoffs. It comes down to your back's against the wall. You have to fight for your entire season right now. And that's what we've seen every single time. So, I mean, you have to buckle up for this type of ride. This is a big, big part of the season. You want to be playing meaningful basketball going into the playoffs because you want to be prepared for those moments. So I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's also not a bad thing. Like, you just have to just ride with it. You have to stick with it. And also, they still have the best player in basketball, and I feel like he's going to, lead the way.
Eric, we've seen Jokic play his best. I think back to game 82, but if you remember, they went on a 6-game win streak leading into that with Jokic playing the best ball at that point of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 games. It's a little bit longer of a sprint, but it's still a sprint.
I mean, this is a confluence of about 6 different things coming together that make it feel. This is a never too high, never too low moment. I mean, we are feeling exquisitely low because that was as bad as it gets for about 7
We
different
just
reasons.
all got our ass kicked.
We just got, dude, the Denver Nuggets got their ass kicked. The city got its ass kicked. DNVR is in the process of getting its ass kicked. It sucked. That totally sucked. Doesn't mean that the Nuggets are no longer worth paying attention to and they are going to fall into the play-in and we shouldn't love them anymore. No, it does not mean any of those things. This sucks, man. Sometimes games suck. And Jokic looked tired to me. You know, there's like a lot of things you can look to and be like.
There is a little treat for you in around the association. We'll
What?
get there when we get there. But
A treat for me in around?
a small treat for you, Eric.
Is it a
That's a small
Reese's?
treat.
Is it a Reese's Pieces?
Is Reese's Pieces better than Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
Let's fantasy
No,
draft
I bet
candy.
it's smaller. It's the little treat.
Oh, okay. Let's hit a break on the other side, though. We'll get to some Super Chats. We'll hear from Harrison Wind, who's live at Ball Arena. And I can't wait to get his report tonight, man. I can't wait. It's going to be an excellent might not be the right word. It's going to be a very
hope he-
noteworthy.
I hope he blows us off.
Yeah.
Doesn't even show up.
We also have the King of the Game, though, real quick. We have to, as we always do, hand out the DraftKings King of the Game. And this one was Nug Life. This one was Nug Life. We could not, in good faith, hand it to a single individual. Instead, we had to give it to all of us. Blown out at home by the goddamn Celtics. God, I hate the Celtics.
We are a country with no king.
We are a country with no king.
Oh, man. Oh, no, guys. Oh, no.
What happened?
Hey, the premier Colorado dispensary is Lightshade. They have 10, soon to be 11 locations. I prematurely said it was 11. I got scolded by
Whoa.
Parker. It's still 10, but that's a lot of locations. And here's the cool part about the Lightshade locations. It doesn't matter which one you go to. If you use promo code DNVR, you're going to get 25% off your entire order. And Eric, I love promo codes. But sometimes I'm like, man, that's a great promo code. When do I use it? When do I take advantage of it?
Right, sure.
Like, when do I cash this thing in?
When am I going to do it?
What about every time?
What the H?
Every single time you come in.
Holy
so listen,
smokes.
kids, actually been over this. Adults, if you like pot, go to Lightshade and use promo code DNVR. They're going to get you 25% off your pot. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, I've seen some people say that they've gone in and tried to use it, didn't work. You just have to. Not everybody. Lightshade has a lot of employees. You just have to be consistent. Say DNVR, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Say DNVR, get the manager. They'll get you the 25% off. I promise you.
Also, the Colorado XOs. Are they the XOs or the Raptors?
No, they are the
Raptors.
Raptors.
The Colorado Raptors are no longer the Colorado XOs. We should probably put that on the sheet. But listen, they are actually a really cool experiment that you could check out at Glendale, Colorado, which, if you didn't know, is Rugby Town, USA. One of the very best spots to get into the culture and the game here in the United States. A surging, growing rugby culture, and the heart of it is right here in Colorado. They've also got a team composed of some crossover athletes. They came together looking for a new challenge after success in their respective sports, and I'm talking all over the field of athletic competition. Now they're trying out rugby, and they went 5-5 in their first year. They want to see you out there at Infinity Park in Glendale for the upcoming season. You can get free tickets at their website, and if you want to know more about the game, check out the DNVR Rugby podcast, hosted by the King Colton Strickler. Saw him at the bar the other night. It made my entire night because he's really cool. And he does a very good job of reaching out to laymen like me, like D-Line, I assume, who don't necessarily know the game of rugby very well, but are trying to understand it better while doing a good job of appealing to the diehards as well. Get your rugby game up and do it with the DNVR Rugby Pass and check out our friends at Glendale, the Colorado
I think
Raptors.
Will Barton would be good at rugby.
Nope. I think Will Barton would get hit one time.
Maybe
in
try
rugby,
his
and
hand
he
in a
would be-
different sport.
He's rough, man. Barton's killing me, man. He's really killing me right now. Turning into one of those guys with the sunglasses. All right, we got some Super Chats coming in. What do we got? Who wants to read Super Chats tonight? Molly!
Oh, my.
Balls!
Super Suffer Chat, my friends. Still here, but it's starting to hurt. That's a good one. Suffer Chat
It is a suffer chat, man.
Might be.
I'm telling you,
in the
man, this is
lexicon.
what life is really about, suffering together. It really is. I'm telling you.
Why we
I have it on good authority.
do other people who aren't into sports just
They still
enjoy
suffer.
things together.
They still suffer.
They do. It's just not together.
Yeah,
you
it's
ever-
in different ways.
Yeah, you suffer in different ways. Have you guys ever seen? Do you guys know David Goggins? You know,
No,
he's like a
huh.
motivational speaker.
Walter
you don't-
Goggins.
No, you don't know David. I think that's his name, David Goggins. Could be wrong. He's the guy like. He was like a Navy SEAL. He's at all this
Oh,
stuff. Like,
yeah.
And he's always just yelling. He's
Yeah.
he's like hilarious, but he's all about it too. Like I actually think there's something to it.
He's
Very,
always talking about
Mamba
screaming at his
mentality.
inner bitch.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He uses a little bit more colorful language, and also his life seems pure misery. But somehow he's like
Right.
he's like a masochist now. He like loves his like
feel like-
extreme training.
I feel like at the end he'll be like, I should have smelled a few flowers along the way. Like,
Should've had a
maybe
few
it-
more
maybe it shouldn't-
Reese's, slept
maybe
in.
it shouldn't have been pure pain. Maybe I should eat a Reese's Pieces every now and again.
He's always doing the videos where he's running. He's like, the thing I learned. He's like 100 miles into a jog that day. You have never say no. All right, what else we got? Anyway, we suffer together. Josh says.
Big away crowd at ball hurts my soul through the TV.
That hurt.
It hurt, man. It hurt. I love my city, but I mean, we take some L's.
I mean,
We take some real L's sometimes.
just to be clear, there were way more Nuggets fans than Celtics fans, but the Nuggets fans had nothing to cheer for.
Yeah, that's part of it as well.
And it just, it cascades, it multiplies, and you start to feel they get emboldened. People from Boston are inherently assholes. It is the term is masshole. Everyone calls everyone from Massachusetts a masshole because living in Boston is warfare every day. You against the elements and all of the other people that live there.
Yeah, it's definitely a type of place.
So
where it's
then,
like,
when you move to a place like Colorado, where we're
too nice here, we're too nice.
Human beings are considered, and life is nice. You just come in like a hardened criminal, let
It's a real
out.
adjustment.
I know, and you just get
It's a
let
real
out in like a
adjustment.
daycare, and then you just like start screaming at children.
Picking up
Everyone's
kids and
like,
shaking
yeah, dude.
them.
Everyone's like,
People are like,
"What?
relax."
Chill out." And you're like, "Fuck you!" And you're like, "Oh, geez, all right, whatever."
It is running the DNVR Nuggets account. There are certain fan bases the Nuggets lose, and they just. I haven't even mentioned their team once all night, and they're just, "Fuck you, we're better." You're like, I forgot that's the whole state of being.
that is the
for
state
all
of
us
being. Yeah,
up
you
and
just
down.
wake up that way. All right, what else we got?
Thanks for the catharsis, guys. P.S. Screw Boston. That's my favorite.
That's my
Super
energy
chat.
right there.
Yeah.
Screw Boston, man. Screw him.
I'll say it if anyone wants me to say it. He's still overrated. Okay, Ben Mack says the next time the Celtics are in town, we need to do a bus takeover that night. We need to bring the noise.
Not a bad idea.
If we have to take this into our own hands.
Can we bus 36,000 people over?
I know. We got to make it the biggest one ever. That's what we got to do. Is get the
Again,
Celtics
idea,
game.
though.
while we're talking about it, there is a ticket that we need to sell for our friend Haley.
Nobody DM'd any of us tonight for
Well, I don't
it?
know. Nobody DM'd
This is a
me or
rough
anything.
sell right now. Like,
Nobody DM'd. You're not wrong. You know what?
It's a really
I
tough
should
sell. Like,
pick my.
who wants to go to Bowling?
Eric's giving away his ticket.
I'm like, also up for sale this seat on this fucking show.
What else we got? Ooh, a two-parter. Morgan, he says, as a Colorado native, a minority in my own state, these games make me sick. Only game I made this year was Chicago. Game like that was different when the team was trash, Shaw. LFG party bus, OKC going down. Hell yeah, that took a real turn
I
at the
love
end there.
that, dude. Morgan, what a
Yeah, wow.
I was up and
It was a
down.
real downer for a while. That it came around. It's like, hell yeah, we're going to show. There's going to be no Oklahoma City people at
He
Ball
got
Arena
us
that
early.
game.
He got us.
It's going to
Oh,
be all us. We got
Morgan-
another one?
Morgan back
He's
in.
back in. He says, corporations, billionaire fighting, Denver suffers.
suffers.
It's so true.
Tale is
It's
old
so
as
true.
time.
but
baby.
Denver suffers together.
Together.
We do suffer together.
We're in this
although-
muck together.
Sadly, all those Boston people, they leave the arena, they're also Denverites now. Like, they're also, that's the thing that's the worst. That they're like, I love Colorado. I'm practically a native. I've lived here 6
They're like,
years.
I'm gonna go take advantage of that discounted light shade.
I can't wait. Damn it.
I love the DNVR Nuggets. Big Celtics fan.
Yeah, for real. All right, what do we got? Rayvon says, I was here for Fareed Hickson front courts. I'll wake up tomorrow with the rest of my Nuggets life to live
I
and
love
give
this
it my all.
one, man.
Let's go, Ray. That's why you're the king.
Dude,
That is why you're the king. You
why
bring
you're
up
the king of the
JJ
chat.
Hickson, my
leader
boy.
of the leader of the chat.
My boy JJ. You were here. You're a true one then.
You're a true one.
JJ.
By the way,
Hickson.
just CJ who keeps trying to figure out who the girl is that's talking. I don't know. I guess your girl's up here on the show with us, CJ. Oh, shit. Oh. All right, we got him.
There's like a dork in there talking shit. Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
We got- Jose says, there's a reason we call them assholes. can't stand Boston fans. It's so
And because
true.
they are assholes.
They're just assholes.
That
They're just
part's
assholes.
real. The
Massholes.
nice ones, the good people,
Massholes.
still assholes.
Well, it's funny because people in like Connecticut and Vermont and New Hampshire, which Adam cannot pick out on a map.
I can
also,
pick it out. I just can't tell which is which. Like
That's the
east,
same.
west.
That's the same
tomato,
as not being
potato.
able to pick out. They all call them assholes while not getting the joke that they are also
But they're
terrible.
also there. That's so true. That's so true.
Did you say tomato?
Tomato, potato, man. It's just it's like it's the same.
That's
it's
right.
the same.
No,
It's
he's
the same.
got it right.
Shall we go around the association? Let's go. There's gotta be, something's got to make us.
How
happy
did the
that's not the
Celtics play
Nuggets.
tonight? Remember those
The
happy
Celtics,
days?
yeah, those ones. All right, around the association, we start. The Golden State Warriors lost to the Spurs shortly after. I guess they don't have Steph Curry. Shortly after Draymond Green declared that they were going to win a title. You know what happened to the Warriors? They went full Smuggets.
Yeah.
Whatever the S'more are. They got their guys back for one game.
Warriors.
They got their guys back for one game, declared that they were going to win it. Not that we feel good, we have a chance. They said we're going to win the championship. Next game, Curry got hurt, and now they lost to the Spurs, who are tanking.
Draymond Green actually got ejected from this game pretty early on, too.
Really?
Yep. And they also lost on a buzzer beater at the free throw line.
Wow.
So DeJounte Murray kind of grabbed the rebound. Keldon Johnson grabbed it out of his hand and just threw it up.
Oh,
and it just
wow.
kind of went in on the actual buzzer, like at 108 or wherever the case may be.
Poor Warriors. The Raptors beat the 76ers 93-88. Listen to that score. My
Low
God.
score.
Hey, I'm telling you, there's something here. So you guys saw the Celtics beat the 76ers by 50 points earlier this year. Did you see that? Nuggets only lost by, 30?
Hell yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah, take that, Joel. Take
you by
that, Drew Hanlon.
Beat you by 20 points.
The Celtics, I think there is something to these teams, the Raptors, the Celtics, that if your best player's a big, they have guys that can guard it. They have a system that can guard it.
The
Like
Cavaliers, too. They
Cavs.
have size. They know what they have.
so,
There's a way to do it.
76ers lose tonight. They might actually suck. That win the Nuggets got against them might actually be a bad win. They might just be a bad team, which I'm okay with. I'm all right with it. The Jazz beat up on the Knicks 108-93. The Knicks suck. Donovan Mitchell went off 36 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
Our boy played in this one.
Wancho, by the way.
Wancho!
Man,
Did he
actually,
start?
let's take a timeout. Have you guys been scrolling the timeline
Dude,
and just
there was
see?
a lot of Wancho
There was
praise.
a lot of
in
Wancho tonight. They love Wancho. Hey, it sucks. How come we can never get anything nice? Because I want Wancho to thrive. Just not in goddamn Minnesota,
had
not in
in mind.
goddamn Utah. Like, I don't want him thriving there.
The one nice thing we have is the greatest player to ever play basketball.
That is the one.
Beyond
nice
that,
thing. Beyond that.
Yeah, other than that, though.
But Wancho, I mean, what are you guys here for the one? I mean, I saw Tony Jones tonight tweeting out his length is going to come
Oh, my
invaluable in the
God.
playoffs. And I'm sitting here they're drinking the Wancho Kool-Aid.
You should send him your own AG graphic cycle with
Oh,
Wancho.
yeah.
Just your custom-made
Yo,
analyst Wancho cycle.
Maybe we should circle back to AG because I got some takes, man. But we'll circle back here in a little bit. The Phoenix Suns beat the Kings tonight in overtime. Devin Booker went for 31 points. Phoenix Suns fans, in my mentions, complaining they don't get enough respect for their overtime win against the Kings. Nobody has a take?
No, we're down too bad. I can't even slander another team. It just feels like
I don't care.
I just what am I supposed to do?
The Thunder and the Magic. I did not watch this game. I don't know a single thing about it. Other than the score was 90-85. You know what that was?
A double munder?
A tank off. That was a double munder, but that was I didn't watch the game, but I could tell you that was two teams trying to lose.
And I know they're pissed off. The Magic are pissed off at Wendell Carter. He had 30 points. They're like, come on, bro.
He walked back to the locker room like, you guys gave him my life.
Hey, you guys need to amp up here. They're like, come on, bro.
Did you not see what this was, you idiot? You moron. The Pelicans beat the Hawks 117-112. The Pelicans also it's crazy. That play-in, Pelicans, man, they might climb out of it. They honestly might. They've been playing so great. They're playing connected. They're a good story. And they got their guy, Jose. What's his name? Do you know? It's like Jose.
Yes. Oh, Alvarado.
Alvarado. Jose Alvarado.
And I can shoot.
I can shoot.
Oh,
Yes,
my God.
yeah, that one's good.
It's a great
I
clip.
actually kind of hate this guy. He kind of reminds me of Dellavedova. He's one of these flash in the pan guys that next year
You just hate short people.
Yeah, that's what it's starting to seem
Adam
like.
just hates try hard.
These poor guys who have to play hard because they're not big enough.
It's so true,
God,
man.
what
These
those
short-
assholes.
No, but did you see he had a play tonight where he was standing out of bounds, crouched, and then they just casually inbound it, let it bounce or whatever, and he sneaks in and gets the layup. It's just like he's one of these guys. They're going to hand him a big contract. He's going to suck next year. That's my prediction.
Hell yeah, dude. That's peak around the association analysis.
Thank you.
He's good now, but he's going to suck later. That's
Once
for
they give him that contract, I'm telling you. Grizzlies Rockets. The Grizzlies beat up on the Rockets 122-98. Bane went for 24 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Your guy.
My guy.
Every
dude,
time I bring him up, it hurts.
Well, me and Vogt, the lone passengers here on the Bane train, are just forced now to be run over by that very train every time we go around the association.
Turns out we were molded in the darkness.
I know.
That's all we've ever known.
Oh,
Is that Batman?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's a bit of a stretch the way I used it.
Yeah,
but
it is a weird one, but you know what? You got it in there. The Blazers successfully tanked against the Pacers, 129-98. Where was this joy that you were going to bring us? Did you
The treat?
Yeah, where's the
Or
treat?
did you go over Joel Embiid's line?
Oh.
No, I guess we didn't. We'll go
Treat
back
me.
because nobody
Go
cares
back,
about the other
'cause
one.
it's
All
a
right.
legit treat.
Treat me.
They lost,
I
and
need
Joel Embiid
Played as bad as Jokic.
We feel really bad because Jokic just had a true stinker tonight, guys. He did not shoot out. Joel Embiid was 6 of 20 from the floor,
Jesus.
2 assists, and 1 turnover.
How many points, though?
21.
He had 11 free throws.
You shot
Confusingly,
not-
21
11
points.
free throws, but 6 of 20 from the floor.
Oh,
So that
boy.
helps.
All right, that's pretty good.
A little something, a little
Giannis
ice.
has been not playing, and he's going to get the MVP just out of default.
Yeah,
He's
dude.
just gonna get
Oh,
elevated.
did you guys see the image, or did you see the video of Nurkic throwing the guy's phone?
Oh man, you should send that to
can you
Kale.
find that,
You should
Kale?
send that to Kale. That was great. Nurkic today got upset. I can't wait to find out what it was about. Hopefully, it wasn't anything too nefarious. But he did pick on it. It looked
You
like,
know what? I
First of
kind of
all,
hope it is nefarious.
I don't. Oh, here it is. Check this out. We have it on the screen here. He walks up to this Pacers fan, grabs his phone, throws it in, and then stares him down. Here's what. First of all, that guy is holding a beer.
Yeah, how old is this
That dude's
person?
like 16 years old, man.
Yeah, and
Come
he's
on.
trash talking him back though. He's not afraid at all.
What's Nurkic gonna do?
This
though?
is
Punch him?
the
Like,
opposite of DeMarcus Cousins and James Harden. Like, somehow the little guy is laughing at the big guy.
So
I don't know what he said, and I don't want to get into it. So I'm not. I'm
No,
going to be
but no, no.
careful
To
till
me,
I
the
don't
most
want to stick
important
my foot in my.
part of this is what you brought up. Did Nurkic just get in the face of a child? Did a child get his hand on a beer? Or is that the youngest looking 30-year-old of all time?
This might be the Indiana Pacers security staff, really sweating, like, God, how come this one went viral?
Should we take his beer away?
Oh shit! Like we're gonna get caught right here. This is terrible. This is a horrible look. I have Aaron Gordon on the clock right now. I think he might be a little bit banged up. Aaron Gordon just is a little too lackadaisical for me, and this is the stretch that matters the most. And it's been a long season. A lot have been asked of him. We talked about tonight. Let's see, does he make an impact on some of these guys? Those were getting torched by the wings tonight. Everybody was eating. Aaron Gordon, to me, in that second half, he did step out of it. He did start to play hard and with some intensity. If he's hurt, honestly, maybe he needs to sit. But if he's not, Aaron Gordon is paid to be one of the guys. I know that, yes, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, those guys are paid above him. They're expected to be above him. They're not here. Next man up means, hey, you've got to attack the basket. You've got to play with a sense of pride. You've got to look across and tell your teammates and say, that guy over there, Jason Tatum, don't worry about him tonight. I got him. And that's just not happening right now. Like, to me, him and Will Barton are two guys. Like, I don't expect a lot out of Jeff Green. Like, he's a veteran. He was never supposed to be in this role. Aaron Gordon, I expect a lot out of. Will Barton, I expect a lot out of. Those two guys, these last 10 games,
Been terrible.
I got to see something. No, I'm saying these next 10 games. I got to
yeah.
see something from them.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon gets paid handsomely to be the next guy up. When they are missing those two guys, Aaron Gordon's who has to be the fallback guy. This is a guy that has been like a franchise player at another team who they relied on to be the scorer, to be the defender, to be just the de facto player. And for the Nuggets, he's been everything but. He's been an extra good piece because of like what his role is. But right now, with how much Jokic has to do, you expect Aaron Gordon to try a little bit harder from start to finish. He finishes this game with 5 field goal attempts, and it was because he got it going in the second half. You can't do that if you're the second highest paid guy or the second guy on the team. He's taking the same amount of shots as Jeff Green. That just doesn't make sense. The bench comes in and does the same amount of things. I really do feel like he was a little bit better defensively as far as like just trying to step up to the challenge, but also guys are still going off against him. So, yeah, if you're banged up, say that. This is the perfect time to be banged up right now. because maybe that just like shifts the mindset of, okay, you know, they have to prepare for this playing game. It has to be serious. But if not, if you're going to just like trek through it and then after the season come out and say, hey, I was playing through these injuries, like, okay, well, now you just cost the team or you made it a little bit worse. So if you're healthy, play well. If not, why are you here?
Yeah, you can see on his face too, like he's laboring.
looks sad.
He does. He has big sad vibes.
Remember that smile after the trade?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like, you could see him at the line. He looked like looks like he's in pain, like whether it is physical or emotional. Also, this is the worst hairdo he's had since he's got here. I hate these braids. I don't like how he's done it at all. He needs to have it with the headband. I don't think that's a little bit part of that's fully the problem. That's the AG.
I liked his hair. I thought it was great.
No, you did.
I just
not.
love that
He
this
looks
is
like,
Eric's like sincere, earnest.
I know. It really
Like,
is.
AJ's been
like,
struggling. He's
you
like,
guys-
I mean, look at
you
the
guys
hair.
have theories, and I have actually something to point to.
That's
like
true.
that
That's a
hair's-
good point.
That was terrible hair.
That's evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not actually super surprised, guys. You are right. I think both Aaron Gordon and Will Barton are guys where you look at those 5 guys together and you go, hell yeah, perfect. Either of them as second and third options, I think you should preemptively cringe. Like, I'm the biggest Barton defender out there. He's not on this team. Like, Will Barton as your second or third best player, it's not going to look good.
Yeah.
It's just not going to. Especially,
But even by those adjusted, because I'm with you, but even by those adjusted standards, I still feel
they're still below it. No, there's no doubt that either one of them or both of them are trending down. But what I'm saying is, it was awesome what they brought for the first third of the season. Even then, I wasn't naive enough to think we're going to see that in the final third of the season. This is where it is just starting to. They just need their guys back. They might not get them back. But anyway, to your point, to agree with you guys, when's the last time you walked away from a Nuggets game like Aaron Gordon's defense tonight?
it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a little bit
Been
here.
a long time.
Coming up here, are you guys watching? The big game is tomorrow, I believe. With is it tomorrow? Yes, Minnesota at Dallas. Like, where are we rooting now? Are you guys rooting for Dallas to win both of those games? I guess it's easier. The path for Denver now is easier because you need Dallas to lose 2 or 3. You only need Minnesota to lose 1. So I guess we're big Dallas Mavericks fans.
Oh, God.
I
Right,
hate
Spencer Dinwiddie. Hey!
Luke is cool. Luke and Jokic are good friends.
They're buddies, yeah.
They always talk glowingly about each other.
Yeah, you got to root for Dallas. You don't want to be in that play-in spot. I just
Yeah,
feel like this
you're
is
right.
not a type of year that you want to be trying to fight for your playoff life in that type of situation. I'm rooting for Dallas. I'm a big Luka fan right now.
Number 1 Luka fan over here. This guy.
And then right after that, you're going to have to root for Phoenix. Phoenix at Minnesota. Like, I know. Sports are so great this time of year where you're just, like, forced to root for all the... Later on, we're going to be like, let's go Lakers. Come on, AD.
If they lose,
Really?
too, if they all lose
It is-
as you're rooting for your enemy, you go,
It's really the worst.
Oh, God damn it. Yes. If you would,
Weird bedfellows? What is
yes, strange bedfellows are made. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, nothing matters if the Nuggets just win. When the Nuggets lose, that's when you have to start looking around and start worrying. If they just take care of business, they win every game, like, you don't have to look around the association. Right now, that's all we're doing. Like, we're supposed to be playing offense. We are playing defense, and that is
Yeah.
not good at this time of year. Sucks.
It's definitely not good. By the way, Denver's next game, the Clippers, on TNT. It's on TNT, so national television bounce back, and that Clippers team, man, I'm telling you, they're smart. In many ways, it's almost a good challenge for the Nuggets. Like, they really need it. I don't want them to have challenges. I want all easy games. But it's a good challenge in that it's another opportunity for this doubling with length, really fronting yoke, trying to see something else. Maybe the Nuggets practice, maybe in secret. Maybe this is a return game for Michael Porter. I don't know. Kind of giving up on that help a little bit, but you never know. Maybe we get a little bit of a surprise. We'll find out. By the way, Harrison Wind is joining us here.
Oh, man.
Here just shortly. Anybody? Just a quick. I know this is like even deeper than around the association, but anybody? March Madness, Dev. I know you've been locked in. You got any March Madness updates? Was there a player that you're like, hey man, this guy?
Dev looks like he's like March Mad right now. He's got
March Mad Dev. Everybody knows that one.
March Mad dogging us.
Yeah. Teddy Williams, like that was a guy that really stood out for me. I like that. I like the guard from North Carolina. I was really shocked at his play. He just finished for like 30 points. with the game winner. I'm glad that we have to stop that. Chet, I really like Chet.
You like Chet?
Oh, I'm all in on that.
You're all
guy.
in on Chet, huh?
He gets dunked on every single time, and it still ends up winning the game for them. He does not care. He's a difference maker on that end of the floor.
I like it. All right, let's go live to Ball Arena where we've got Harrison Wynn. Live to Ball Arena, home of the Boston Celtics. Harrison, how was your night there at the Can?
Oh, man, dude. If I have to listen to another Boston fan talk about Jason Tatum and Ime Udoka and Peyton Pritchard, I'm gonna lose it.
Peyton Pritchard seems like the ultimate Celtics fan.
Let's go, Peyton
man.
Pritchard.
Pritchard.
Peyton
Yeah,
Pritchard.
Peyton. Oh,
The guy has so
Fast
much
PP.
grit. He's just got grit pouring out of his pores.
Oh, my God. So, honestly, before you get to the postgame, just kind of walk us through. I mean, I had a whole segment on this Celtics crowd. We've seen this for years. There's Chicago, there's the Lakers, there's Celtics. Is it getting worse?
You know, the only game this season that's felt like this was the Chicago game, but that game, first of all, there were way less Chicago fans than there were Celtic fans tonight, and also that Bulls game was like a really good game. So Nuggets and Bulls fans are going back and forth. Tonight, man, this was brutal. This was maybe the worst I've seen it. You know, some of those Lakers games a couple years ago, the Warriors games, but there was something different about tonight. There was always a ton of Boston fans here. Maybe it was just because they played like unbelievable pretty much the entire game. So there was a lot to cheer about, but this is definitely maybe like the worst I can remember it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And not just that, like, I don't know, because we're just watching the broadcast and obviously hearing what Altitude's saying, but, you know, they were talking about how they were mocking Jokic at certain points, like almost the crowd mocking him. I mean, could you notice any of that?
So I tweeted out that, and this was right before halftime, I think, a couple times Jokic was touching the ball, and there were MVP chants, ironically, of course, from Celtic fans.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they were still chanting MVP from when Jason Tatum had just hit another three, but it seemed to me that a couple times in the second quarter, Jokic got the ball, and was obviously a contingent of Celtic fans everywhere throughout the arena. There were some MVP chants, of course, in an ironic fashion.
Well, all right, take us inside. What did Michael Malone have to say?
Well, Malone took definitely notably longer than normal to come to the podium tonight. He said, look, this game was decided in the first half. Our starting group allowed them to close on a 28-7 run. It appeared to me that the starters gave it and quit, and the bench unit was fighting. And that's kind of why he made that pretty drastic move in the third quarter to bench the entire starting lineup. I can't remember a coach ever doing that. But he said, look, the bench was fighting. If they're fighting and we're not, you know, that's just not acceptable. If we're fighting and we're losing, that's fine. But if we're getting our butts kicked and our heads down and our body language sucks, like, my DNA is, look, I'm not going to reward that. So that's, you know, why he made that move. And that was the theme of the post-game presser.
Man, yeah, I mean, I don't think he was wrong. Do you?
I don't think he was wrong either. No, I actually love the move. And I think he was right in his assessment. Like, I didn't think the Nuggets were necessarily going to win if they started the second half with their starters or their bench. I don't think it really mattered. But I liked him sending a message like that. I feel like they need a little wake-up because there's 10 games left. They've had some rough losses as of late. They're definitely not playing their best ball. I think they need a little bit of a wake-up here with the play-in seeming pretty real. And like Malone also said that. Also, he's like, look, with 10 games to go, what are we doing? It doesn't get any easier. We got the Clippers, we got the Suns, we got the Thunder, who we have a hard time playing against coming up. So he pretty much said, right now, we're going to see what we're made of.
All righty. What else? What else do you have to say?
He also addressed kind of the crowd. And he says he told his guys, look, you're lucky this was a Celtics home game because all the chanting from the Celtics drowned out what were probably boos from the Nuggets home crowd. And he said, look, I think some of our guys were in their heads and in their feelings, and we just have to get over them. We have to get over ourselves.
This is brutal, man. You keep kicking. We've been down for an hour, and you're just pouring salt on the wound.
I know. The whole premise of these goddamn shows is it's supposed to be therapeutic. I feel worse.
Yeah, we've done a bad. Even us, we've had a bad job. Our crowd is booing us.
DNVR down bad.
Wow, so down bad.
Yeah, just gotta talk through it sometimes. So we talked to Bones and Joker tonight, and Bones gave some insight on what happened in the locker room post game. Apparently, around 5 guys spoke up, Bones said. But the first guy, really the only guy he mentioned by name, was DeMarcus Cousins. And I think that's significant. Bones just said, look, DeMarcus talked, and I think the message hit home. He pretty much said, look, we're not playing hard enough right now. We got 10 games left, and we got to kind of get our ass into gear. Bones was also asked about the second quarter and benching the starters heading into the third. And he said, look, like, we're just not playing hard enough right now. All of us, the bench, we were able to cut the lead down, but by then it was too late. Fortunately, these habits, though, they're easy to fix. It's really just effort. It's the will to fight, the will to win. Go out there and play with heart. Nobody's stealing us right now.
Okay. Alrighty. I mean, saying some right things, but God, man, this. I need a gritty blowout on Tuesday for my own sanity.
In the meantime, might I suggest
Some alcohol. You feel good?
I perked up in the last 10 minutes.
Kind of relaxed. All
I gotta
right.
say though, you've been nursing that pretty hard, or babysitting it.
I am drinking my second cup of whiskey. So, just
What
so
else?
you know.
Keep going here. Both getting drunker. Get us some notes.
Didn't know it was that bad over there.
It's bad, dude. It's bad.
It's not great.
And then we spoke to Yoke tonight as well. He was asked directly, did he speak up in the locker room post-game? And he said no. And he was asked why he didn't. And he said, look, because I had nothing to say. Tonight's game we lost because of me. He took 100% blame. He said, it's pretty simple. I just missed a lot of shots. They played really good defense on me. Maybe I forced it. I just thought I had easy scores, but I didn't. They guarded me really well. It's that simple, he said.
Well, taking ownership, I guess.
Yeah. And they just kind of spoke to, like, where the team's at. He said, look, throughout the season, you have runs of good play, you have runs of bad play. Last 6 games, we have not been playing well, but in his opinion, it's kind of normal. But we don't want to be doing it this late in the season because we want to avoid the play-in. We definitely don't want to be there. But he did say, guys speaking up post-game, that's positive vibes after a loss like this. But yeah, the theme of his comments was he took all the blame. He said, I played really bad, and that's why we lost.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, there you go. Anything else?
Bones did have a comment about the crowd and how, look, Nuggets fans, he said, like, we need you guys to fight with Celtics fans to be like the loudest people in the building. But I think it was more of, like, this is the first time Bones has played against the Celtics at home. This happens every year. He just doesn't really know. But he was kind of ticked off about it, you can tell.
I'm telling you.
He's like, Mile High City, baby?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Bones is young enough that he shares these types of opinions and insights, but I know they all feel it. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
absolutely.
I know they all feel it. So this has got to be a drag. Harrison, you're doing the Lord's work. We'll see you tomorrow. Get home safe. Everybody else, cue that outro music. We can get out of here. We're already past an hour for a loser's
Who's
lounge.
driving me home?
Everybody that's in here, that's still in the chat, still watching
Take
the show,
that
you
all
guys
the way
are
out.
real ones. Tough one, tough pill to swallow, but a season is highs, a season is lows. That's what brings it all together. Right now we're suffering We are entering a moment of uncertainty, I would call it. The season has had a lot of uncertainty to it, but here the Nuggets stand in the 7th seed after being in the playoffs for almost the entire season. Here they are, 10 games to go, gut check time. It sucks. It's not the position. It's not the lot we wanted, but you know what? There's still an interesting story to be written. Still some pages left.
Ain't done yet, man.
They ain't done yet. Big week for the Nuggets. I'm curious to see how they respond. I'm honestly genuinely curious to see how this team responds on Tuesday, because this is the most they've sort of been punched in the mouth and kicked, and I just want to see what they got.
I, in my heart, believe you're going to see a very different performance come this next game. This team is like pretty resilient. This team has been given a lot of really bad scenarios to deal with. Losing 2 of your best players right off the bat is not really the way you want to go into a season, especially having been increasing with momentum and inertia every season leading up to this one. But there's Jokic has a way of responding. Barton has a way of responding. I'd be very surprised if we see them play another game this terribly throughout the rest of the year.
Most importantly, Dev, do you have a way of responding? Because I'm broke, and I need a date. I have a date night on Tuesday. So.
It's going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. As he just said, the Nuggets always bounce back, and it's 10 games. It's gut check time, so the Nuggets will respond.
All right.
There we go.
Respond, though.
All right, everybody, hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow. We got a podcast tomorrow, 2:30. We'll see you then.